As you know, this is the third and last part of our Sense of Place series of events, which started in June with the opening of the exhibition itself, you can see here, and of 88 other more exhibitions in the Italian Cultural Institutes all over the world, all of them related to the main Venice Biennale exhibition, which took place in Venice, of course.
Well, thanks to all of you for coming tonight. And as you may or may not have known, this is sort of our closing moment of the show, as tomorrow is the last day it will be on view. And so many thanks, Andrea, to you, to the entire staff, and the Italian Cultural Institute here in Chicago for making not only this event possible, but also the exhibition as a whole. As Andrea started to explain, it's actually part of the Biennale in Venice. So it was the curator of the Italian pavilion there that had this idea that on the occasion of the 150th anniversary of Italy, which is this year, he thought to sort of cast a very broad net and think about how Italian art is happening all over the world. So not only is the pavilion happening in Venice, but there are 89 screens, if I'm not mistaken, that have these 89 satellite exhibitions from cities all over the world. Chicago is one of them, that has this exhibition featured there through a film created by Marco Ferrari, another artist in the show, that represents all the artists here. And that film is on view in the entranceway of the galleries here, so you can take a look at that, of how we're represented in Italy.
The first piece is called Pavlov. This piece is called Arc.
Faster. And so these constant atomic accidents leading to these hundreds of millions of ongoing explosions never become
Only the exact amount of energy necessary to accomplish any given task. This is the last piece. One, 1967, University of Arizona and University of Michigan Marching Band. 2, 1968, Grambling State University Band. 3, 1969, America Thanks with the Florida A&M. Yeah, hide stickers.
How can you teach? Because this is so original, and so what can your students possibly come up with?
that's their problem, really. I'm not going there. I'll touch on that one. No, I'll touch. No, I think basically, with students, the idea is to maybe give them some frameworks to work in, and to try to see if within, like these pieces have very limited frameworks, right? I mean, everything is very much, it's just those words with this, or just this structure, just those numbers, or whatever it is. But I work a lot of times with very limited structures, and and part of that's connected with teaching, I think, because I find that when teaching people to try to actually open up and experiment with what they're doing, sometimes the way to do it is to give them very strict boundaries, and then see what they can come up with, so that they don't have to feel like they're trying to make the art, or the masterpiece, which is nonsense. Instead, they can make some nonsense, which would then become the art, and that might be much more interesting, actually, ultimately. And also, I think it's about, I think teaching people to make art has mostly to do with teaching them to focus, to tell you the truth. And so I think that has a lot to do with it. It's this idea of very singularity, kind of a singular sort of approach, maybe. So I think that's how I would say I would do it. And if they're in art school to begin with, my assumption is they want to try to make things. I think that's a pretty good basic assumption. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Lou. And speaking of cholesterol, we do have some on the other tax rooms.